Hey boys, it's HarmNone. Today I'm going to be going over my picks for the top 10 JDM cars in Grand Theft Auto Online / Japanese cars. So, for those of you who are about to say, that's not JDM, bro, they sold it in North America, bro, oh, they actually make that in North America, bro. Shut up. Japanese cars / JDM cars. This is a combination list. Both. Drop a like if you enjoyed the video, dislike if you don't, of course. Let's shoot for 5,000 likes. Subscribe to the channel if you guys are new. We're so close to 200k. Let's go ahead and run it. Starting off at number 10, we have the Dinka Ballista Kanjo SJ coming in at $1,027,500 to $1,370,000 if you don't have the trade price for it. Now, the Dinka Ballista Kanjo SJ is a vehicle that should have come out with the Tuners DLC. However, I do believe that it was scrapped and actually later released the following summer with the release of the Criminal Enterprises DLC. And the reason that I think this is because this car has stance, despite not coming out in the Tuners DLC. Curious, isn't it? Thank you, Rockstar, for scrapping this car. Anyways, and then Rockstar decided to get really lazy, and we're going to talk about that in a second. But anyways, the customization for this thing is off the charts. There's so much that you can actually do to the Ballista Kanjo SJ. It's kind of unreal. Now, the unfortunate part of this car is, of course, that it is a Honda Civic, and therefore, it is front-wheel drive, which sucks. This thing is terrible off the line, but it is a pretty cool car, and the modifications that you can do to it make it slightly worth owning. Overall, it is a cool car. Not gonna lie, kind of picked it for this list just because it's not an obvious choice. But anyways, here it is at number 10. That's why it's in the worst spot. Let's go ahead and talk about number 9. Now, this is what I meant by being lazy. This is the Annis Remus, and you may notice that the $1,027,500 price tag, if you have the trade price, and the $1,370,000 price tag, if you don't have the trade price, are suspiciously the exact same as the Dinka Ballista Kanjo SJ. You couldn't change the price by $1,000, Rockstar, on each of them just to make it, obvious that you didn't copy. Anyways, the Annis Remus is a Tuners DLC vehicle. It actually did come out with the Tuners DLC, and it has had the drift modification tuning from the Chop Shop DLC added to it, meaning that you can drift this thing around, which is pretty sweet. The Remus is a cool car. It always has been a cool car, but it's even cooler now that it has drift mode, which is sick, obviously. Tons of customization, generally a good performing vehicle. Overall, Annis Remus is just sick, and you should pick one up. It's a great car. Definitely one that I highly recommend. Next up, number 8, we have the Karen Sultan RS Classic coming in at $1,341,750 if you don't have the trade price, to $1,789,000 if you don't have the trade price. So it's a little more on the expensive end. However, the performance that you get is pretty insane. This is arguably the fastest car for the Tuners races in Grand Theft Auto Online. So if you want to win Tuners races, the Karen Sultan RS Classic is pretty good for them, largely due to its all-wheel drive, as well as it being quite small, especially in comparison to the other top car, which is the Emperor Vector. The Karen Sultan RS Classic is very, very good, and it is something that you should look into picking up. Tons of customization. It is based off of the Subaru 22B from real life, which is a legendary car, and it's definitely something that you should own in Grand Theft Auto Online. So pick one up if you don't have one already somehow. At number 7, we have the Dinka RT3000, based off of the Honda S2000 in real life. It's coming in at $1,286,250 if you have the trade price. If you don't, $1,715,000. So it's a little expensive, but it's not too expensive at the same time. The RT3000 is yet another Tuners DLC vehicle, and it's very good. It's just generally very good. Now, it's not very good at racing, but for free mode and for just cruising around and stuff like that, it's pretty cool. It's got a lot of customization. It's got some really weird stuff that you can do to it, but it is a really cool car. It makes for a unique vehicle. The RT3000 is definitely something that you should look into. If you don't have it already, you can have it with the roof on. You can have it with the roof off. That's pretty cool. Overall, RT3000, it's good in my books. Now, coming in at number 6, we have a free car, and this is an OG, the Annis LG RH8, based off of the Nissan GTR, and like I said, costs $0. So you can pick this thing up off the Benny's website for absolutely no cost, which is sweet, and it's just generally a pretty good car. It is actually a pretty good performing sports car still to this day in Grand Theft Auto Online. It's probably within the top 20, maybe top 25, so it still does have really decent performance. It is, of course, all-wheel drive in GTR fashion. It's it's got a decent amount of customization for being a car that's from 2013, actually. It's got some spoiler upgrades, it's got bumper upgrades, it's got a couple of roof upgrades, and you know what, it doesn't have that many upgrades really. But still, it's a cool car, and it does have some pretty good performance. It's really fun to drive around. It's been a long time since I've actually driven it, so it was kind of nice to get back in it after all this time. The RH8 is definitely something that you should pick up in GTA Online, especially because it's free. Who doesn't want a free car? What the hell? At number 5, we have the Fathom FR36, brand new, the Infiniti G35, coming in at $1,610,000. No, it's not JDM. It's definitely Japanese. I mean, maybe it is JDM. I don't know. You nerds tell me in the comments down below. This thing's pretty sick though. Does have a lot of customization. Now, suspiciously, the front bumper options are all just different variants of each other, and there's not actually that much difference between them all, which is kind of annoying, but it's kind of cool at the same time. I don't know, it does give some variation, except they're all the same. But the FR36, yeah, for sure, man, it's pretty sick. Other than the bumper options, it does have quite a number of customization options, which is always nice. You can give it the classic G35 grille, which looks absolutely horrible, so that's cool. But it does have some good modification too, as well as it has drift modification tuning, which is pretty cool. And from what I hear, it is the best drift car in the entire game for the new drift races, which is pretty cool. Overall, the Fathom FR36, it's brand new. It's definitely something that you should look into if you don't have one already. If you're skeptical about buying it, just do it. It's not that bad. It's pretty good, in fact. Unfortunately, it does not have a trade price. It's just the $1,610,000. No more, no less. So pick it up if you guys are interested. At number 4, we have the Annis Elegy Retro Custom, coming in at $904,000. This is an upgrade from the Annis Elegy RH8, which is free. So this is going to cost you $904,000 even, which is the cost of the upgrade. The Elegy Retro Custom was formerly one of the most customizable cars in the entire game. It wasn't even close for like probably 3 years. And then the Tuners DLC came out, and that kind of changed things up, and Rockstar started getting a little more adventurous with the customization options that they were offering on the vehicles in GTA Online. So it does have a lot of competition now. However, it is still based off of an R32 or R33 GTR, which obviously those guys are going to be very big fans of that. So yeah, the Annis Elegy Retro Custom, I mean, it's pretty cool. It is actually somehow slower than the Elegy RH8, which is kind of pathetic, but I mean, I guess it does actually make a lot of sense. An old GTR versus a new GTR. Yeah, never mind. It makes sense for sure. Overall, cool vehicle. For 900 grand, can't really go wrong with it. Now, tossing a full curveball in. This is the Meibatsu Monstrosity, coming in at $1,485,000. I bet you weren't expecting to see this thing, but this is based off of a Mitsubishi Pajero in real life, which is a JDM car. So this is a JDM car, and it is definitely a pretty cool one. This thing has a lot of customization. It's all-wheel drive, it has a very short wheelbase, which means it can turn on a dime, and it is generally very, very good. The Monstrosity is a phenomenal little car, and it's definitely something that you guys should look into. Also, interestingly enough, it does have Imani Tech upgrades, which is pretty sweet, so that's very cool. Another good reason to own this thing for sure. At number 2, we have the Karen Calico GTF, coming in at $1,496,250 for the trade price, and $1,995,000 without the trade price, which is very expensive. You do get quite a bit of performance out of this thing. The top speed is very high. Unfortunately, the handling is almost non-existent, but I felt pressure to put it at number 2 because I know the JDM guys absolutely love the Calico GTF, and tuner tards absolutely love it as well. So I figured I would rank it nice and high up for you guys. It's based off the Toyota Celica GTC4, I do believe it is in real life. I could be totally wrong. Isn't that what's the name of a Ferrari, the GTC4 Lusso? I think I'm wrong, but I'm not gonna check. I'm sure you guys are already typing your comments down below, correcting me, letting me know that I'm wrong. It is a Celica though, I do know that. So the Calico GTF is a pretty cool car. It is all-wheel drive. It has a ton of customization, yet another Tuners DLC vehicle, so go figure. It's a very good car, except for turning. Don't turn in this Calico. Do not turn in the Calico GTF, whatever you do. Just drive it in a straight line and never turn, and you'll be just fine. And at number 1, we have the Annis ZR350, the RX-7, coming in at $1,211,250 to $1,615,000. I can feel the comments. I can sense them. Where is the Supra? It has 1 million horsepower stock. Nope, it's not here. Go look somewhere else, buddy. The ZR350 is way better. ZR350 is a sick ass car, so much customization. Also has the new drift modification tuning as well, which is super sweet. And this thing does drift extremely well. The ZR350 is a fan favorite. It's one of my favorites. It is such a good car, and it is definitely something that you should own in 2024. Another Tuners DLC vehicle, so it is eligible for those Tuners races. It's definitely something to look into. Definitely pick this thing up if you somehow don't have it already. There you have it, guys. Those are my picks for the top 10 JDM/Japanese cars in Grand Theft Auto Online for 2024. If you enjoyed this video, if you learned something, a like is of course appreciated, as I said at the start of the video. Subscribe to the channel if you guys are new. We're so close to 200,000, and I will see you all in the next video. Until then,